Hey guys, we are down in the basement and everything is tore down. We are saying sayonara to this old layout and we're going to move to the new layout. And stay tuned, at the end of this video I'll show you a quick clip of where the new layout will be. But before we do, I want to talk about a few things. One, I want to show you what I did to deconstruct the layout. Two, I want to talk about some mistakes learned so you can avoid those, kind of going back to my How to Build a Layout series. And then we'll talk about what the future holds. So first, some of you guys loved it, some of you guys hated it, but the famous or infamous display case is now emptied out. I've got 75% of my trains boxed up and upstairs. The rest of them are down here, still waiting to get boxed up into bigger boxes. They're all in their individual boxes. As I suggested to you guys before, keep your boxes, especially if you move or decide to sell your items. It retains a lot of your value. And it's really handy when you move because a lot of these things are very, very delicate items. So you'll see my old car shop here. These boxes have a whole bunch of 53-foot containers in them, things like that. Just lots of boxes everywhere you look. And there's the two bridges and the UFO. Boxes down there, boxes down there. And for once you can see under the layout what we're dealing with here. So a lot of boxes down here, but still this is only about 25% of everything that I've got upstairs already boxed up in these big wardrobe boxes. Let's talk about the layout real quick. The layout. Some mistakes were made, but before we get into that, this is where the roundhouse was. Roundhouse turntable, as you can see, giant hole. A couple people on Facebook joked that that's where the money goes. It's the hole where the money goes. Oversized scale manhole, whatever jokes you want to make about it, but that was kind of handy after taking it out to stick my head up through it and work on stuff. I vacuumed all the excess ballast off, all the excess stuff I could, so there's not a huge mess when these get moved. These will be moved to the new house in the third car garage section until I get a third car, as I strip the layout and use whatever I can on the new layout. The track. I've made a lot of mistakes in my day. Part of it was not very good glue job. A lot of this ballast broke off or has this area here where it's just kind of chunking up in pieces like that. Well, another mistake I made, look at this, the track feeder is way stretched out. Those should be almost invisible. A big mistake I made on the layouts for modulars is modular layouts should have a gap piece going across the modules, unless they're real good modules like laser perfect modules. They should have a gap piece going. You should never have a huge piece of track that you haven't cut. If you go to train shows, you'll see that there's a gap piece over all the modules. They don't ballast it down, they pull it off, take it apart, and take the modules wherever they're going. But I did not do that. Some areas I had to take pieces out, some areas I had to Dremel pieces out, because I didn't do that on all areas. I did it when I did the big double oval, but I didn't do it on the yard. I got lazy and fast and just wanted to do that on the yard. You know, whatever way worked. You'll see a noticeable hump here. That's because this table's higher than this table. Another mistake you don't want to have on modular layouts. So I was really not that good when I was teaching you guys what to do in 2011, but luckily your own talents applied to the series, How to Build a Layout from Start to Finish, will make better things than this. Another thing you don't want to do on a modular layout is have a switch over the gap. It's not the best idea. It doesn't mean the end of the world, but it does mean that sometimes they catch the frogs and jump the switch, which I had happening a lot. Probably not going to do a 3-inch gap from track center to track center when the standard's 2 for both double crossovers and bridges, and I had to do a little S-curve that people told me not to do then. So that's not going to happen on the new layout. And then one last thing is, if you notice here, as the track curves, it bends out. It's like the opposite of a super elevation. I don't know how that happened, but that itself had caused a few derails, so you want to make sure stuff like that doesn't happen. So those are some of the mistakes I made. The track usage itself, I don't think it was bad track. It was code 83. I may look at different brands of track instead of Atlas. I haven't decided yet. But that is about it on the layout. So this is tore down. However, I do want to caveat that this layout is still functional because I get reviews, you know, products to review. I've kept this functional until the last minute, at least to run halfway around the track to do a good review. Everything can be turned on still. The Ecos is still plugged up. Ecos Control wireless system is ready to go if I need to use it to do a review, because I'm knowing my luck, I'll tear this thing down and then the floodgates will open for review items. So that is about it from here. Now I want to transition to the other house with the magic of video editing to show you what we're dealing with in the third car garage, where this layout will be stored while I'm stripping it, and what we're doing in the basement. So let's go ahead and take a look over there. One thing I do want to let you know is, you know, you got to have a little compromise in marriage. I gave my wife the entire finished basement. I took the utility room, and we didn't even have to fight about it because I didn't want the whole finished basement. It's almost 2,000 square feet. Don't forget I'm active duty military. I don't want to move all this stuff. So my modular layout can only get so big. The new utility room where it's going to be will be painted. It'll have upgraded lighting, everything installed there. But even so, with that limited space compared to the 2,000 square foot basement, we're talking about double the track space, double the yard space, and around the room layout. So we're going to have enough track to run prototypical consists with most stuff. Not the 89-foot auto racks, you know, we'll probably be able to have 80 or 70, 80, 90 of those. But the coal trains can be 130, 140 plus coal trains without it chasing its tail. So that was kind of my goal, to have prototypical consists being able to run. Because as you guys know, I'm a train hoarder and I can make some prototypical consists. I've got almost enough coal cars to do that now, just in one type, and just all these different types of cars, I can make prototypical consists with a lot of them. So let's move to the new house, and after that we'll see you next time right here on my channel. Don't forget, Northeast tour coming up, a big announcement coming later next week for that tour once I get everything finalized, and I look forward to seeing some of you guys on that tour, and also maybe meeting folks along the way, national train show, things like that. But I'll get all the tour details listed on a video next week. All right, on to the new house. Take care. See you next time. Bye-bye. So here is the third car garage, a three-car garage. This is the third car section where, until I end up getting a third sports car, I'm going to end up putting the old layout as I strip it, possibly, you know, the new layout, but most likely the old layout. I do not plan on having the layout in here except for the old one to strip the parts off of. So that's where the old layout will be, and the current plan is to basically do entire new tables, so I'll just be stripping parts from there, but I have the dimensions for that already written down. And then down here, missed a step, is the new basement. And this is all the area that the layout would be in, about 2,000 plus square feet down here, if I didn't have wife and kids, in-laws visiting, etc. I could wind it all the way around and through here, and there's some space back there. But when you get married and have kids, you end up in the utility room. So this is where the new basement, or the new layout, will be. A little dark in here, but what we have is all this will be painted. I'm going to paint all the cinder block, probably a sky blue, something like that. This back wall just up to the door frame is 21 feet. This is an additional, I can't remember, I think 21 feet across, but a little bit of a stair step design where the furnace, air conditioner, heater, all that stuff is, water softener, and then back here. So it's going to kind of wind around. It's going to be in around the room. This door here will be reversed to where the door will open outwards, and it's going to be a duct under. That's the plan. Maybe some changes. I don't have everything solid. There's a small possibility, I'd say 5%, the old layout could end up in here. It would fit snugly just in this portion of the room, or actually with extra space just in this portion of the room. So there's a lot more space than it looks like in here. We're talking about 21 feet just on this wall, and another 21 feet going from here all the way down this way, and then, you know, there's about 8 feet there from the wall to the water softener working around. So that's the plan for the layout. Modular, way better bench work, and that's what we're going to go off of for the future. So this gives you a little peek of the new house and what we're going to deal with here. So this house was built in 2001, so it's kind of full of oak, and we'll be changing that over to some more modern designs. Well, that's about it from the basement, so hopefully this helps you guys get an idea of what we're looking at for the future layout.